I mean, who knows?
I mean, I kind of like Machado better in terms of health. I mean,
Ugh, they both scare me.
yeah, but
Machado's got two. He has two knees that have been replaced.
right. Well, true. Look at it this way: Washington's in third place right now, only a
Yep.
game out, but they're in third place. If this is the first year of Bryce Harper's $400 million contract, guess what? They're still a third place team, and they got less money to spend. To go get whatever they want. So that's just that speaks to the analytics that you talked about from last season. And another interesting thing I was just kind of noticing is all the pitchers that signed so late, with the exception of probably Jake Arrieta, are pitching horribly right now.
Yeah,
like
Cashner, Alex Cobb,
Lance Lynn.
Lance Lynn is just a lost cause.
Yeah, and there's at least one or two others.
I know. I'm trying to think who else is there.
Holland signed extremely late and
Yep.
is on the DL.
I think he's in the minors, isn't he?
Or did they option him?
I thought they did. I know he got hurt.
I thought he was put on the DL, or maybe he got put on the DL from the minors. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, you're right. He was signed. I think he signed the first day of the major league season.
Right, because I drafted him in my fantasy league really late, and I thought I was like a genius for doing it. I'm like, oh my god, I just got Greg Holland in like one of the last rounds, and he's not even on my roster anymore because he's terrible. But I just thought it was. I laughed really hard at that, but yeah, but all these guys. So I mean, that's gonna concern me. Like if I'm a GM and if I think Lance Lynn's going to be good, I sign him like a month before he eventually signed because I'm like, I need my guy to be ready at this point. And so who knows how that's going to play out. But and Darvish, he was the other guy. He signed pretty late, and it's just a complete dumpster fire for him. And
he's been bad for the Cubs. He went on the DL with biceps.
Yeah,
I think it was bicep tendonitis.
But he's a head case as well. So that just there were just so many things that if I was every other team that was in the hunt for him, and I was within their fan base, I would have been extremely relieved that I didn't end up with him. And Quintana as well, just not a good trade at this point anyway, and just a lot of missteps by Theo Epstein. Those two just are underperforming, and and then the health issues with Darvish, and then you have the Hayward contract, which is a complete albatross at this point. And a lot of people. One of the popular theories is that Harper's going to end up there. I'm like, he's not going to end up there. There's just
where's
no
he going
way.
to play?
Exactly, and they just don't have the payroll. And just say, for instance, if they do, well, now they're not signing Rizzo or Bryant at this point. When they come up, and Bryant, by the way, is a Boris guy, and so there's just no way he's going there. Harper's going to one of four teams. I think the Nationals are the favorites because their GM is. I know he just got an extension, but he's going to be under a lot of pressure here. His team can't get out of the first round, and if they let the face of their franchise go, how much more pressure is he going to be under at that point? So I have a hard time believing they're just going to let him walk. But if he does, Philly is an obvious landing spot because they're in prime position, and I guess their owner loves to spend money.
100%.
He just doesn't care. Yeah. And I think Atlanta will be a possible target. And I throw the Dodgers in there because, they just have the means to do it. But so you got all them. I honestly, outside of the White Sox, I can't find an obvious fit in the American League for Harper.
I can't either. I think I'm 100% with you. I think Harper is going to stay in the National League, and it's going to be one of the teams, as you mentioned. And, we talked about Machado. Machado has a lot of relations in terms of the Phillies because you look at some of the assistants that are working in the front office, some of the coaches, they're all from Baltimore. So, and on top of that, J.P. Crawford's not hitting well. I know they have the kid Scott Kingery, who they signed to he's a rookie who signed the contract. They bought out some of his arbitration years and free agent years and so forth. So, but he's a guy who's kind of like a super utility, a Ben Zobrist type. But I think Machado could end up being in Philly. And Harper, I could see what you're saying with the Nationals, and you make a great point about Rizzo, where he has to win and he needs to be able to try to keep who he can, like Harper and such. But Harper, at the end of the day, he could get offered as much money as he wants, but he wants to win. And the Nationals they're not going to have that type of team that can compete after, I would say, this year, because they're going to be losing a couple guys. You got Scherzer, you have who's getting older. The rotation is Strasburg, he's as brittle as can be. I don't know. I could see Harper going to the Braves because Marquinhos is a free agent after, I think, next year. Maybe this year. I have to look. But he'll be in Atlanta. That's a young team. They're hungry. It kind of makes all the sense that he'd go to Atlanta. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about that on the last episode. I mean, there's an obvious fit for him there. So it's just whether or not – I think Philly's more likely to spend the money, but if Atlanta decides they want to be a player, then absolutely. And they
have the money.
Yeah, their rebuild is timed perfectly with his free agency, and they got the new stadium, and that seems to be like a new thing. Whenever anybody gets a new stadium, they want to try to time it with a championship run. And it's funny because Texas is talking that way right now, and I'm like, there's just no way. Like they're like at least 3 or 4 years away. But yeah, I mean, he's probably gonna stay in that division anyway.
Oh yeah, he's familiar with the division. He knows the teams. He's watching. It wouldn't shock me that if he's on the top dugout, or more so the top step, and he's probably saying to himself, "Huh, I wonder how it is if I play right field and I'm watching Ronald Acuna and Enson Yarte. I wonder how they are as teammates. Huh." I'm gonna keep that in mind.
Exactly. Where would he be in the outfield? Would he still be a right fielder?
I would keep him in right. I see. The one thing that irks me about some teams is when they sign guys, like perfect example, the Colorado Rockies. They signed Ian Desmond to play first base when he played center field for the Rangers and killed it. Why would you move a guy who you just signed to a mega deal and have him switch positions? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, I mean, where would Blackman go then? He would just slide over?
Well, I know the Rockies were having trouble finding guys to play first base. I wouldn't even have touched Ian Desmond if I was the Rockies.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to say that if I'm a team like if I'm the Rockies and I saw that Ian Desmond was on the market, if I'm going to sign him, you're going to sign him as an outfielder. But wait, you already have Blackman. So what was the point of that?
They must have just liked his bat and, thought they probably looked at the Red Sox and said, well, Hanley can do it.
Yeah. They saw the bat. They saw the bat, and once again, the analytics. They saw the bat speed and, how much defensive run saved he had in center field and a bunch of other
And he
stuff.
was pretty late, too, if I remember right. So maybe that played into it as well.
It did. You're right.
He was a little more affordable towards the end, but yeah. One more question on Harper: is there any scenario whatsoever he gets traded at the deadline? I mean, it's a long shot, but I mean,
unless the Nationals are completely 150% out of it, I can't see them trading Harper. But you never say never because it's in the sporting world. How many times have we said? We'll never see this, we'll never see that, and then it happens.
Right. Yeah. I know. I mean, in just this week with us, not that Hanley Ramirez is Bryce Harper, but it just came out of nowhere. And so I don't know. All right. Well, let's just dive into this this Toronto series real quick. Computer's going slow. Have you guys played Toronto recently? Like last few weeks?
We have not. They haven't played against Toronto since, what was it? It was right before. Actually, the last time we played Toronto was when they came to Yankee Stadium, right before we went on that big 17-2 run.
Okay, so we've probably played them more recently than you guys have.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, they really hit the shitter, and I haven't really paid attention to it, and I think that's putting it lightly.
That's a great way to put it.
They're 3 games under 500, and I don't really, honestly, I don't really know what the cause is for that. I know Osuna, got placed on administrative leave or whatever they want to call it, and that just got extended to June 4th, so I think we can confidently say he did something a lot worse than Stephen Wright did. But
yeah.
So I don't know if that has a lot to do with it, if they're struggling in the pen or whatnot. They suck bad enough that I'm not going to make a Toronto writer come on here and tell me about it. But yeah, they're not doing good, so I don't know. And that's another team that, has some tough scenarios to look at, as July 31st comes up.
Yeah, they do. Between Donaldson and then people are clamoring to try to get Vlad's kid to come up.
True, and I have him on my fantasy team, so
keep him there.
I would love
he
that.
Might come up.
Yeah,
keep him on your bench. Don't release him.
Exactly, and I'm like, as soon as we get done, I have to find an outfielder because I just made a trade for. I made an epic trade. Not that my audience cares about this, but I think I did good. I gave up. Yeah, that phone's being used for Periscope. Let's see. I got Sano, LeMahieu, and Blake Snell, and I gave up Bellinger.
Okay.
Who's underperforming, and that whole team is. Who was my second piece? I gave up Bellinger, Erod. Oh, and Markakis. I didn't want to give up Markakis, but...
no, that's smart. Blake Snell's having a hell of a year. I think he's figured things out.
Yeah, exactly. And his whip is low. Just all across the board, he's pitching very well. And,
and DJ LeMahieu is a hitting machine.
Yeah, he's
all he does is hit.
On the DL for a few more weeks by the looks of it, but
but when he comes back, I'm telling you, you can count on him for 300 average, even higher.
Yeah.
That's all he does is hit.
Yeah, exactly. I forget who my fourth piece was in there. I want to say it was Asdrubal Cabrera. But, yeah, so I gave up, let's see. Yeah, I gave up Bellinger. And I kept Schwarber over him strategically. I just felt
smart.
Yeah, he's on a better team, and, his average is lower than what I'm comfortable with, but he's hitting home runs and driving guys in, and I don't know. And he seemed to want Bellinger more, so I just kind of kept steering him in that direction. And yeah.
Future GM right here.
Well, I'm in third place, so let's not,
That's not bad. It's better than 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And Blake Snell was like, if I was giving up Markakis, I was like, I'm upgrading my rotation at this point. He was hell bent on 2 outfielders, and so I'm like, all right. And my rotation hasn't been great, especially the bottom part of it, and so I'm like, let's see if I can get Snell away from him. And I gave up Erod, and Erod gives up a ton of hits, and he's on a nice run, but it's going to get back to the point, I feel like, where every third or fourth start, he's
throws a clunker.
Yeah, he's going to get knocked around a little bit, but he'll be a mid-threes ERA guy, I feel like. But Snell is just trending,
He's trending up.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be their ace, I feel like, over Archer, but...
He will.
Yeah, but anyway, enough about my stupid fantasy shit. Sanchez and Price tomorrow. Let's see. Sanchez got off to a good start. Yeah, he's CRA. Yeah, so he's got an ERA of 4.07, and his last 3 starts is about on par with that.